Yo, what up? So, I'm just gonna be talking about the 7 types of gamers. Now, there's already a dude who made a video kind of like this. It's called the 7 levels of gamers. But I feel like his takes, didn't really make sense because he said, um, you're not a real gamer if you've never played Silk Song Hollow Knight, which doesn't make sense. So yeah, I disagree. I disagree with what he had to say. So this is why I'm making my own take on the seven levels of gamers. But here we go. All right, so level one, level one gamers are cozy gamers. Um, you know, they only play on mobile. Like literally, all they only play on mobile, and they play um chill, relaxing, easy to get into games, games that don't have hard mechanics, games that don't have competitive gameplay, it's just chill, simple games, So they usually play games like Candy Crush, um, you know, and if they do on a consoles, most likely a Nintendo Switch, and the games they're playing on the Switch is probably Tomodachi Life, Animal Crossing, even that Garfield lasagna game. That was on my Switch, but I don't have the game card for it, so I just deleted it. I mean, I don't even want to play that game anyway. But yeah, just play simple games. Games that aren't hard. Farm sims, life sims, stuff like that. Oh, and they also have like really short gaming sessions, like usually 20 to 30 minutes. And then gaming isn't a hobby for them. It's just something that they do to pass the time. And it's not like a big hobby. They're not really involved in the gaming culture. They don't really care about who wins the Game of the Year awards because they just game to pass time, and that's really it. And then next up we have level two gamers, aka casual gamers. Now casual gamers, they take it a step further by playing a little more intense games like the this is where you start to see VR headsets come into play, and more advanced, I guess you say more advanced mobile setups. um and then you know they also spend a little bit longer on the game, like usually 40 minutes, and they play whenever they can. They play whenever they get the chance to pass the time. Again, it's not really a hobby to them. They just do it to pass the time, and that's really it. And they're not involved in the gaming culture that much. So yeah, casual gamers are kind of like cozy gamers, but the difference is that they play for a little longer in more intense ways, like with VR. And then we have level three gamers. Now, um, there's nothing wrong with being a level three gamer, and it only becomes a problem when you cross the line. And level three gamers are, of course, the infamous ball and gun gamers. So level three gamers are ball and gun gamers. I have nothing against them. You can play whatever game you want. I don't care. But it's a problem when some ball and gun gamers decide to clown on other games or talk about how much gaming is dead, or when they get mad that a certain game won the Game of the Year awards. I'm like, bro, why do you care, bro? Like, it shouldn't even matter that much to you, but it's whatever. But anyway, Actually, I'm low-key guilty of this because I used to be a ball and gun gamer myself. Like I used to only play shooters, and that was really it. All I used to play was shooters. Like, bro, I was a ball and gun gamer at heart. I used to be one of y'all, but the reason why I stopped was because I found out about more genres. Like platformers, action adventures, racing. Fighting. I found out about other genres, and I decided to try them out, and I liked them. So even though shooters is still my main genre, I still play other genres too, and you know I actually found myself playing Ocarina of Time on Mario 64 more than playing like games like Counter Strike or Bullet Force or Rush Team, stuff like that. But yeah, but basically, ball and gun gamers, they only play shooters and sports games. So COD, Madden, FIFA, 2K, Battlefield, Valorant, any FPS game you can think of. And even though GTA is technically a sandbox slash action adventure, the reason why it is uh, grouped up with ball and gun gamers' taste, in games is because um, the thing about GTA is that it has everything a ball and gun gamer would want. It has and then I got headshotted, but anyway, it has, bro. Why is the buy menu still there? But yeah, it still has guns, and it's the fact that you can do whatever you want basically in GTA. So that's why I don't really count it as an action adventure game, because even though it technically is, it just doesn't feel like one, especially with GTA Online being added. So yeah, that's not I don't think it should not be in the same genre as Ocarina of Time, bro. That just doesn't make sense. But anyway, also, yeah, not saying GTA is a bad game. I never even played it before. It's a ball and gun gamer game. It doesn't matter who plays it. It's just it. But the point still stands that it is a ball and gun gamers game. But anyway, so yeah, ball and gun gamers, they usually spend like 4 hours on the game, and the dudes who spend like 3 to 4 hours, bro, like yeah, they just be grinding. They just be grinding daily. But yeah, um, they only play shooters and sports games, which is why they're called ball and gun gamers. Nothing wrong with being one, but just don't disrespect anybody else. But yeah, that's basically a level 3 gamer, a ball and gun gamer. All right, so level 4 is where things start to get serious. Level 4 is your hobbyist gamers. These are the gamers who are willing to try out um most of actually the 7 pillars of gaming genres. So fighting, first person shooters, action adventure, platformers, um, RPGs, racing, and I think I'm missing one because it's not sports. Definitely not sports. Um, what does it matter? There's still a seventh genre, but yeah, they're not afraid to try out the 7 pillars of gaming genres, and they're willing. Like if you give them a request, like they're willing to try out a new game. So yeah, but basically hobbyist gamers gaming is a big hobby for them. They're involved in the gaming culture. They do like to hear, what game will win the Game of the Year award. So yeah, they're deeply, I guess you can say, deeply interested in gaming. And yeah, I'm a level 4 gamer, a hobbyist gamer, and I'm getting shot at. But yep, that's what a level 4 gamer is. They usually spend 1 to 4 hours on the game. Me personally, I spend 1, but for those of you who spend 4, I mean, go ahead. I can't stop you. But yeah. All right, now level 6 is where things start to get bad. By bad, I mean like unhealthy. Like this is where people start to become addicted, to gaming. So level 6, wait, I just skipped a level. Hold on, not level 6. I'm gonna say level 5. But anyway, yeah, level 5 is where things start to get bad because this is where gaming becomes an addiction, and this is basically your competitive gamers. Like these dudes who take the game way too seriously. Like they treat it like an actual sport. To the point where they would probably die just they can get their hands on a competitive game. And these are the dudes who crash out at their teammates over a match in like Counter Strike or COD, and take the game so seriously. Um, you know, they try. Oh yeah, they try. These are the sweats. They be trying hard for no reason. They be sweating all over their controller and mouse and keyboard, and they just be doing most random stuff, and they be ready to crash out at any moment. Any moment on the game, bro. Literally any moment on the game. But yeah, they're overly competitive over video games, and they take it like it's that serious. Like, bro, it's not that serious. But this is also where you start to get into the incel territory because yeah, competitive gamers, the dudes who like rage, over their team not winning. Like these are the dudes who live in their mama's basement, even in like their 20s and 30s. These are the dudes who are afraid of deodorant, showers, grass, face wash, washing their hair, even washing their clothes and changing their clothes. These are the dudes who also think that they're anime characters, and they think that they can do anime moves in real life. They also think that they're video game characters sometimes. And yeah, these are the dudes who also have gamer's neck. Where your neck is like hunched over, like you have a hunchback. So yeah, this is where you start to get into that territory. Also, yeah, these dudes they barely brush their teeth, like probably like once or twice a week. But yeah, that's the level you don't want to be at. If you go above this, then you're basically cooked, unless you change your routine. Oh, and then also, they spend like 6 to 8 hours on the game every day, and yeah, they're just highly competitive. Then level 6, they're hardcore gamers. The reason why I call them hardcore gamers is because, I mean, they try to make it seem like they're trying to make it seem like they're the best gamers because of how good they are on a competitive game. But that's really all I had because